Back here as we're joined live by head coach Bart Lundy. And Coach Lundy, I know maybe not the end of the season here at home that you wanted, but either way, you guys came out and played well. You shot the ball pretty decent. What did you see in this game from the guys and, of course, from Carson Newman over on the other side?
Well, hats off to Carson Newman. They thought they earned it. They were really tough to stop. The game plan was simply to play one-on-one in the post, see if they could score enough twos, and we did that in the first half, and then their shooters got loose in the second half. They made 7 of 8 threes, and that's the difference in the game. We can't give up 88 points, so we ended up giving up the post and giving up those threes. 79 points against a heck of a zone. It should be enough to win. I don't know what we ended up shooting. We didn't shoot very well in the second half, but I thought we got clean looks. We got clean looks. It wasn't always pretty, but we had some untimely turnovers. But the threes, that was the difference in the game.
Sure.
A couple in transition, a couple we just didn't close out hard enough.
And Coach, I thought in that second half in particular, not that your guys were taking bad shots or anything, but when some shots didn't go down, they were getting early look threes in transition. What was kind of obviously you were trying to slow that down, but it's tough to do, right, when you're just not kind of making shots that characteristically your team knocks down.
Yeah, for sure. And, it usually works for us the other way. But I did think you're exactly right. We got deflated a bit when we didn't see the ball go in, and we started to press. We had a couple of turnovers at the top of the key, and you play against the zone. You can't have live ball turnovers at the top of the key. It's gonna end up bad for you, and that's when they hit a couple in transition. But this is a young group. I'm proud of where we are. We obviously wanted to win today. Especially on our home floor, but we live to play on. We'll get an at-large bid tonight, the NCAA tournament, and who knows? This might be last time we lost this one. We won the bigger one a week from now.
There you go.
Well, there you go.
Coach, let me ask you this. In terms of, we've talked about this before, and I know you guys have had some losses. Obviously, you're not going to go undefeated every single season. So, what is it you tell your team after a tough loss? How do you rebound from that and set your sights now on the bigger tournament, like you said, and coming away with that win that just might mean that much more?
Well, it goes back to our daily philosophy. We're going to celebrate or mourn until midnight tonight. Turn the page,
sure,
and keep it moving, and we'll figure out who we're going to play tonight. They'll probably need a day off tomorrow, lick some wounds. The other thing is, and this doesn't get out, but we had some guys that were pretty banged up. That last game really nicked us up, and not to make excuses, but I thought we had some really gutsy performances by guys that played through pain and. We didn't play a lot of guys out there tonight, and a lot of minutes. They were on the floor.
Sure.
So I can't be more proud. We didn't score as many points as Carson Newman, but this group's going to be together for a long time. And just like he feels good about his group, I feel equally as good about mine.
Speaking of this group being together for a long time, a couple of guys that I thought really turned some corners this season. You look at a guy like A.J. McKee and a guy like Quan McClooney. I feel like down the stretch of the season, I think it was something like, well, now if you count today, the last 8 games, he was in double figures coming into the day. The last 7 games, 44% from 3, really filling it up for you. Those two guys' development and some of those other guys, how does that help you feel motivated and encouraged heading into the NCAA tournament?
Well, you just juiced me up. Let's run this back.
Yeah, exactly, right?
No, the future's bright for us. You think about it, we have this entire group for at least 2 more years, and a lot of them for 3 more years. So, some of them it's their first experience with a championship game, and you learn and you grow, and we'll learn from today to help us next week. Imagine what it's going to do for us next year.
Yeah,
and then last question, Coach, for me anyway, going into the tournament, this season, just to get to this point with COVID and everything else going on, what has that been like for your team, and then for you looking back on it, the sense of accomplishment you feel?
Yeah, there's not enough time in this broadcast to say what those guys have been through this year.
Sure.
From not knowing when we were even going to come back to coming back, in October, being the only folks on campus, almost immediately going into shutdown, A lot of those guys, their first experience at Queens was a 14-day isolation in their room.
Wow.
Welcome to college.
Yeah, welcome to college and welcome to Queens. You know, and no preseason. You know, the testing. You know, we've since late December, really since November, we haven't had a shutdown.
Yeah.
Think about that. Think about how they had to live.
Impressive.
How they had to live and operate, not to have anybody on our team test positive. So, you know, wanted to win. We'll mourn until midnight, and then we'll wake up tomorrow and we'll go back to work.
Well, you know, one thing that I've noticed from you guys just in the short time that I've been able to have the pleasure to call for you guys is the brotherhood on this team. And I think a lot of it, because they were isolated together and you know, and had to be together every day, that helps to build that. So maybe a positive coming out of all this craziness. And, of course, you can see how together they are. We've talked about the bigs working together, but really just everybody coming together as a cohesive group. Watch you guys and shoot around. Like the way you guys talk. So best of luck, Coach, next week. And we'll, of course, be rooting for you all the way.
Thank you, Mike.
Absolutely, Coach.